that is this month. For every dollar raised from Rotary, it is being matched 2-to-1 for Polio Plus. So if you'd like to make a donation to Rotary, I can help you with that. And it will be matched 2-to-1 for Polio Plus. It's coming up that are also will go towards your Paul Harris fellow pins and that level as well. RILA is coming up. It starts tomorrow. We have 6 participants that are being sponsored from our organization. So it's going to be about $3,000 is what our group needs to come up with. And that will help pay for their registrations and the event that's down there. They're actually going to be speaking. I've talked to Spencer about getting them to speak to us about a month from now after RILA. Let them tell us what they experienced with it and things like that. The note cards have gone out, or they're going down there with them as well. So thank you all for being a part of that, and just keep them in your thoughts as RILA starts. The first day is always that interesting one where everybody shows up and it's very, very awkward. Everybody's to themselves and they're in their own little box. And then by the end of it, everybody's in that same box and they don't want to go home. So it's kind of like every camp and organization that's around. RLI, or Rotary Leadership Institute, sorry, it's going to on October the 21st. That is from 9:30 to 4:30. That is at Murray State University. It's an opportunity to network and with fellow Rotarians across the state. If you want more information about that, or if you are interested in signing up for that, please let me know and we can get you going down for that as well. As you know, we have the Day of Giving that's coming up. That is going to be on November the 10th. We will be set up at Kroger. We'll be set up at IGA and also Walmart. So those locations have been set. We do have the sheet that's here. If you have not signed up for a time and you would like to, please let me know. Sign up on the sheet here and we can get you taken care of with that. As a part of this Day of Giving, there are also sponsorships that are available. And just so that I don't ask you for money time and time again, I'm going to let Alan do it this time. So Alan, if you'll stand up and ask everybody for money now.
Okay, we need money now. So some of you all donated, co-sponsor with the event last year. Your business, if you did that, you'd like to do it again, or just like to do it individually, please let me or Jason or Henry know. We'll get you on the list. Great event. We've already had everybody that I've asked so far that sponsored last year is a great sponsor this year. So I think we're good on, all that goes right back. Every dollar given goes straight to the food pantry. We don't really have any expenses. Radio station it's already agreed to be a co-sponsor again and give us all the advertising we want. Same with the newspaper. So we're good on that. I'll touch on RILA just a second. If everybody comes that signed up, it'll be the most RILA students we've ever had at RILA. We don't know that they'll all show up because usually some of them last minute kind of thing. But as of right now, we got 50 committed across the district. So Maddie is going to be one of the
team leaders.
So she heads out tomorrow. I'm meeting Gail this afternoon in Louisville get the stuff that they got from me. So they're all stoked and excited. So anybody wants to go down for the closing ceremony Sunday afternoon, you need to let me know ahead of time because we've got to get clearance at the gate or else they'll shoot you on the spot. Did you get clearance?
My daddy used to work there.
Okay. If that doesn't work, shoot back.
She's Maddie says now. Rotary Readers is also coming up. Bree Cummins spoke about some of the opportunities a couple of weeks ago. I have the sign-up sheet for that as well. Next week, our speaker will be Mariah Hughes with the Corvette Museum. The Messy Bun will be catering. And so we're looking forward to that. If there are other groups that you would like to hear from, if you know of an organization or a club or a group of people that do something good in Campbellsville or in our area, and we would like to kind of see what that service project looks like, please let me know and we'll get them on the list for speakers. Speaking of speakers, we have a fantastic speaker today who is afraid of what I might say because he didn't send the bio to me. So our speaker today is a newly confirmed Boston Marathon runner. So we're excited to kind of get to follow him on that. I don't know if he'll give you the link or not to follow him, or if he even wants you to follow him at the Boston Marathon. But if you'll tune in, you might be able to see today's speaker there. He is a CU grad. He works at Citizens Bank. He's involved in 17 or 18 different boards here in town. He's a good community servant. And today, Joey Hartlage is going to come and speak about Trail Town. So please welcome Joey Hartlage.
I'm just trying to match Jason's energy by getting involved. So I really just want to be like Jason. That's really the goal here in life. No, but thank you all. As Jason said, great introduction, I guess. Don't feel like you have to follow me for the Boston Marathon. I'm very stoked about that. That's in April. It's on tax day, April 15th. Don't forget it. But it's going to be a fun experience. But I am happy to have the opportunity to share a little bit about Trail Town, and we actually have a few other board members here as well too. Got to give a shout out to Renee and Larry, who's here. Feel free to give them a round of applause. Yeah. But and where I fall short today, I'm going to count on you guys. So just throwing that out there now. So, but we can just go and start. I'm going to start with a little bit of kind of history of Trail Town. Man, me backwards. So let's grab the mic. Let's go. A little easier that way. So Trail Towns in general, so they are, as a Kentucky state program, sorry if that messes with you, Maddie. It was birthed from the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet at the state level. So the primary purpose for Trail Towns were, like I said, there was a criteria near lakes, national parks, things like that too, was a tourism driven like initiative to get people in those communities. And you'll see here in a few slides as well too, where the different locations are. And there are proven benefits as well too. And I'm sure you can even kind of chat with Greg over here on how trail towns are great, just pivotal factors, honestly, for communities. You'll notice a lot of them are your smaller towns. And it kind of works out. The smaller towns have been located near your big state parks, your smaller or at least monuments, I guess you would say, in the local areas. But like I said, criteria is close proximity to a national or state park and provide an overall experience for visitors. So you can easily see we are basically kind of a spinoff or a branch of tourism at the state level too. You can go into the next one. Here is a list. So we have 28 in the state across the board trail towns. The ones in bold and italics since last year, I know I kind of gave a very similar presentation. Burkesville, and I'm going to butcher this. I don't know how to say that. Hayden, okay, I didn't want to butcher that. And Liberty have become new trail towns in the state of Kentucky. So you could see a lot of smaller communities are really trying to, well, one, probably get some dollars in their community, but also to showcase what they have, not just trails in terms of dirt and woods and things like that, but a trail also consists of your waterways, your trails, your sidewalks. We consider that a trail because it's still connectivity. That's one of the key things that we push and love. So there is safety, there is connectivity here at the local level, and there is a ease of access as well too across the board in Campbellsville and Taylor County. And if you go to the next one, this kind of gives you a map of all the different counties. I've highlighted the 3 specific ones, the new ones. You'll notice, like I said, they're all near lakes. They're near lakes. There are places where people are driving to. One of our big factors here is Green River Lake State Park. We have a lot of traffic from Louisville. That's a great sign. Louisville money's coming right in here. So does that benefit Trail Town specifically? Not necessarily. No, we don't get any funds or anything of that specifically, unless somebody wants to donate. That would be great. But overall, it is helping out our community as a whole. And that's what we like to work with local officials, city, county, different organizations to help promote our trails, and that we can hopefully help come up with good ideas and do some of that legwork as well too, of maybe improving trails, maintaining them, connecting from A to B, maybe here to the lake or other places in our county area as well. Any questions about cities or counties? If not, we can go to the next one. Okay, so our trail town. So we are comprised of, I believe, 7 or 8 board of directors. And we, like I said, our main goal is to promote outdoor recreation, connectivity, trails. We are a 501c3 organization, and you'll see here soon that we actually recently, in the past couple of years, become a 501c3, a nonprofit organization. And that transition was to potentially get grants, to see what opportunities that we could get to help out, maybe with the city, maybe with the county, other organizations that we can apply for some of the ones, even on the national level, to see if we have projects that we can actually get some movement here. But like I said, we are here to help even sponsor events. If there are events here in the community, like for example, there's the Trace Pittman 5K. In years past, we've sponsored that one because one, that's us promoting events, also physical activity, health initiatives as well too. So things like that, it is one of those where we have to fundraise in order to support these as well. So sometimes that can be kind of going back and forth. It's one nonprofit helping another nonprofit, but it's also not a bad thing. So that is one thing we want to show our support, get our name out there too, of like what we're driving and what our mission is, and to push in this area to kind of grow our community as a whole. You can go on to the next one. Who is involved? So there's three little categories I want to kind of share. So our boards who we have right now: Brian Harris, Darren Henson, myself, Josh Patton, Larry Bowen in the house, Renee Dobson in the house, Suzanne Ince, and Trent Creason. So we, just like any other board, we meet once a month. Like I said, if you ever have any ideas or want to get involved in some way, message us, get in contact with us. Like I said, you can have my cell phone. I can show you the website here shortly. We'd love to be able to kind of hear some ideas of what's going on. Maybe you're hearing some things that we don't know. I know there's a lot of civic representation, a lot of business representation in this room, or even just hearing from the community itself, or even from visitors that are coming in town. We want to know. We also want to be an advocate, or at least even if it has to be a middleman, we're okay with that. We want to be able to help build this community through, like I said, through trails and outdoor recreation and that development. Two things in my second column is the community itself, who is involved. So we have specifically right now, or in the past, I know there's been some groups that kind of try to partner with Trail Town to set up like maintenance plans, cleaning, that side of things. So we don't currently organize those right now, but we would be happy to like share some ideas. So when I say community, that is through trail users. That's one of the number one way to actually support Trail Town, is actually get out on the trails. And when I say trails, that's why you have these maps right here in front of you, to see all the different areas in Campbellsville, Taylor County area, to actually and get familiar with them. It's kind of hard to promote them if you don't know what they are, what kind of different terrain, how are they connecting from A to B? Is there even a connection from Clay Hill Memorial Forest to town? Or that's just one example. So that's something that we actually love getting that feedback on, of seeing like who's connecting, what's not connecting, or even just simple things. I know some things that we can't fix the sidewalk. We can help connect and relay the message, but things like that you could share with us if you don't know anybody, maybe on city council, or if you don't know anyone with our local or even police or anything like that. We'd be happy to share that as well too, just so someone is aware. And that's something, obviously, if you could see there's some construction going on back here. So, I mean, I think from our perspective, seeing new sidewalks, that's amazing. It's safety, there's connectivity, there's a lot of different projects going on in the city and county. And that's something we love to see. That's just a lot of movement for community, safety, and different connections. One thing I definitely want to point out to note, so Campbellsville, Taylor County Trail Town used to be, when it first started, was a task force. And when it was a task force, that's how all trail towns start off through the state of Kentucky. So you actually have to get city representation. You have to get county representation. You have to have committees everywhere. I think there was probably 50 maybe individuals helping out to kind of get the ball rolling, to actually get us started to officially be certified as a trail town. And to do that, you actually have to host a specific event to kind of showcase to the state of, okay, they're actually deemable, I guess you would say, as a certified trail town. And there were a lot of connections here within the community itself to actually work together. So with that too, I know I had mentioned we are a 501c3, so we're not part of that city, county entity organization. So we are our own. But of course, one thing I want to point out, we're still working with the officials. We want to work with the officials. That's the only way that things get done around here, right? We want to make sure there's clear communication and transparency too. So one thing, like I said, when I want to share about this, to note, you're going to see it's kind of in italics. It's kind of hard to read. You have the city of Campbellsville. Like I said, we're not, like I said, under that official umbrella or the Taylor County Fiscal Court. But in terms of those italics, You got the home place on Green River, Green River Lake State Park. All of those are places that you'll find in here too. So we are not the captain. We are not the leader of those. We want to promote those trails and help out our community, help out tourism coming here. And it's, like I said, it's not just up to us. We're a board of 8, 10 people. We can't do all the maintenance. We can't tell specific organization, hey, you must keep these clean. We would love to see that. And we'd love to see community support to come in and see these organizations who a lot of them are nonprofits, or if it's like Trace Pittman Greenway, for example, no one, or the city owns that. It was kind of birthed with Trailtown and organizations working together to come alive. And I wish Paul Osborne was here so we can help give him some credit as a former Trailtown, long Trailtown member and board member, as well as the former mayor that really helped get that project going. So that's just something I want to kind of, if no one's familiar with, just to make sure like, oh, Trailtown owns Trace Pittman Greenway. No, we don't own that. I just want to make sure things like that are clear and just communicated, because I know sometimes that can be a misconception. Like I said, we still encourage people to like visit our website and say, hey, Trace Pittman's looking really rough right now, just so we can communicate that, or vice versa with other ones too, or we can work with specific parties to make sure everyone is aware. Or there's a big tree down at Home Place on Green River. There's a trail race coming up. How am I supposed to navigate that? Things like that is going to help us, that helps the community, and really for us just to work together. You can go to the next one. And Renee or Larry, would you want to add anything on that? Just curious. You don't have to. Here's a quick little history. I didn't update too much from last year. Just kind of gives you a quick timeline. So back in 2012 is when it first really started, the first meeting. They kind of get the ball rolling. And in 2013 was the very first event. It was the inaugural Connections Triathlon. Actually, looking back at my freshman year of college, I helped volunteer at this, and I didn't even realize it. Didn't know why I was there at the time, but I remember when I first joined Trailtown, I was like, oh my gosh, full circle right there. But you can just kind of see the construction and how like the process of how we've kind of helped implement. Like I say, we can't be the sole person. We're not the sole person here, I'm like credit, but have just kind of taken different steps along the way. And some things may point out to you, like back in 2018, you'll see CKAW, Central Kentucky Adventure Weekend. That was primarily one of those events to help be as a big fundraiser for Trailtown, so we can use those funds to help promote events as well as maybe educational events for our community as well too. And you'll see back in January, our board met and basically set a priority list, and just to kind of see what different things that, just so we're not too spread thin on our efforts, because we also are, once again, volunteers in this, and I'm very thankful for our group here visiting here. So, and that's just one of those things that one of our big goals that kind of relates back to 2017, the completed master plan, is our connection to Green River Lake. We'd love to see a trail there. We'd love to see some movement, and just connecting the city to Green River Lake is a great way to do it. There are possible ways out there to connect near Amazon, going out through the old proposed city baseball fields, that park out there, and connecting under the bypass, going to the core and going to the state park specifically. So one thing to kind of keep in mind, that actually the state did really, really well and kept our community like in mind when they built the new bypass out there. That first bridge, as you see, you cross right when you're at the gas station, right by InFac, I believe. Yeah, InFac. You'll notice, probably not while driving, but if you like stood and just kind of walk down there, you'll see a specific 15-foot, 20-foot gap specifically designated for a trail. There's no trail there now, but they worked with us and kept us in mind, knowing there's a possibility of that. That's kind of hard to do, to get someone to get the state level to build one of the I think it's the highest bridges that was constructed in the state of Kentucky, to keep, hey, there could be potential here. They kept that in mind. So that just shows like the efforts before me, for sure, who was working with different officials, city, county, state level, surely. And it just shows you that there's a lot of potential for our community to really kind of build that connection and The dream is have that trail, I mean, constantly. Of course, probably no motor vehicles or anything like that, just similar like Trace Pittman, but at ease of access, more trail, healthy habits so people can get out and about, and especially getting that traffic that's coming down from Louisville, who's at Green River Lake, maybe to come into town and see what we have to offer here. So that's something like kind of a dream, but it's our goal. That's something that can't probably be done tomorrow immediately, but there are some steps that have to happen. There are conversations that have to happen. It takes advocates and community members like you all to really kind of, hey, have your voice heard, share with us ideas and things like that, that we can potentially make this a dream of ours a reality. So any questions about the history, anything like that? Yes, ma'am.
About funding signage downtown. I know there are a couple of other organizations in town that have talked about that very thing. So do you know if there's anything happening presently with, like you said, letting people at the lake know where downtown is, et cetera?
On behalf of Trail Town, specifically us, no. Like I say, we're not the main, I would say, source, but I know there's been conversations with different groups as well too, to trying to get, I know like even like just wayfinding signs in general. I know that's something we've chatted with before with tourism in the past and worked with different organizations as well too, to kind of have even a consistency of trail signage, not just signage like on city streets and county as well too. So it just looks branded. It looks smooth. People know when they're here. Yes, there's 6, 7, over 50 miles of trails, but there's 6 or 7 different organizations or entities, I guess you would say, that have trails on their property. Sometimes aligning everyone's efforts together will take a lot, especially if those signage has already been there for years. So, oh, you go ahead. Go ahead, Greg. We love that. Any other questions about the history? Okay, you can go to the next one. The Campbellsville Bike Pedestrian Master Plan. Who has heard anything about this in the past 3 months? Anybody? Jason, you're involved in everything. We know you have. A few. So recently the city, actually before I say that, the city actually was granted some money for an opportunity to revise our master plan, the specifically bicycle pedestrian plan, that the main purpose is to improve our walkways, improve our roads, things like that. And there was an effort hosted, or kind of not hosted, but kind of held on by Trail Town and community members, that we sent out a lot of surveys to say like, what's hurting us in our community? Where are we missing trails? Where are we missing different things that just hasn't been touched on in years? So this actually was the specific plan. We worked with the state to the Lake Cumberland Health Department specifically, we worked with to try to revise our previous plan, and the city has adopted this. And when I say adopted, that doesn't mean, okay, it's happening right now. It's just they've adopted it. They're going to look at it. And there's actually, I believe from my knowledge, and y'all can probably quote me on this or someone else in the room, I believe they're looking at taking bids. Don't know the next step right now, but I know there are, and this is actually this is just the very top of on their website at transportation.ky.gov. You can see the full plan of this year's plan. And it is very clear kind of what's hurting us, the pinpoints, I guess you would say, and also areas that are going to be looked at potentially. So, and I think it's like a 39-page document. There are pictures, so it's not all text. So you can enjoy the graphics and see what current trails, sidewalks, however you want to call them, are actually active in the community, not just from walking, running, but also on the bicycle side of things too. It also takes into fact of history of incidents of those who's maybe got hit by a car, pedestrian accidents, or people with bicycles as well too. So it takes in a lot of data. I would highly, highly encourage you to at least glance over it, take a look at it, get familiar. I don't have the exact link, but I know if you go there, you can go to the bicycle and pedestrian, I believe it's tab. I wish I would have had that ready for you, and I apologize. But there's a lot of good information on there too. And it's only going to, once again, help us get educated of kind of what's happening, what's potential for our city. And hopefully we're hoping, praying that it can sooner than later, everything happens. But I know it will take some time as well too with those conversations. And and when exactly in what order those funds will be spent. So anything else you all want to add on that? Pretty straightforward. All right, the next one. Also another one, I think that's on your radar. Has anybody heard of the Miller Park project recently? This has probably also been some news. Once again, this is not, Trailtown does not own this. Just throwing this out there. Like I said, we work with all parties. We want to make sure, well, if you're for a project like this or against, this is definitely, we want to use this platform to educate and show potential of what's happening that could happen at Miller Park. And just to kind of give you a quick little example, the 3 squares up there are the current par 3 golf course. And what is in green right now is the Miller Park walking trail. And you'll see that is the existing trail. Purple, sorry if it's a little blurry, but the purple is the proposed trail. And you could see the connection of crossing, I believe that's North Sonoma or North Central, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. That connects all the way to Trace Pittman. I know that's a big goal of trying to connecting a full, I don't say a full circle around town, but somewhere there's constant connection, ease of access. And you can also see, but one of the big things, I know that's the big topics, was shutting Lower Miller Park Road down. So it would actually, if this were to happen, everything that goes through, you could still enter in right here, but then it would be more of like a parking area right at that green spot. And you can't go all the way through, but you can come right back out. And same on the other side, come in from Lebanon Avenue where the hospital is and come in this way. And you can only park right there near the baseball fields. And one other thing you may have actually already seen it if you've been at Miller Park, in the purple section over here on the right side. If you go behind that very first baseball field that's behind bounds, there's actually already been a cut through. It's not like fully, there's no gravel or anything like that, but you can see there's already been progress. So if you've never been over there, at least take a peek at it. I think it's nice to see. It's like, okay, why was that randomly built? There are plans. There are plans to see some connectivity and that we can just make sure there's ease of access. For example, that one was been on our radar even before this entire project. And thinking about like the safety of like those students or the kids and families who were at the baseball fields trying to get to the next field if mom and dad has to run up there and see little Johnny go over there. So even a little connecting trail like that to get to the backside from a safe standpoint instead of going on the road could be one option. So this definitely things like this we're trying to help promote and see what's the best way, because like I said, there's going to be a lot of opinions, a lot of facts as well too that are considered when looking at projects like this too. And y'all want to add anything on this? Once again, I want to make sure you use this opportunity just to kind of get some exposure to projects like this that are going on in our city and in our county as well too. You can go to the next one. Last one. I believe it's my last one. So actually this Friday, 2 Fridays from now, October 20th, we have one of our first time fundraisers of doing a Trailtown specific trivia night. You are encouraged to come. Devin, I expect you to dress in costume. But it's a good opportunity just to kind of specifically themed with the outdoorsy specific area, outdoor theme, not just trivia on city, county trails here, but we're also going to make it a little bit more enthusiastic, include national park trivia, include outdoor recreation, throw in some trivia in terms of like TV shows that specifically that trails are maybe mentioned or specific parks. So it's going to be a fun event. And I think we're going to have some support from hopefully some local businesses too, as a fundraiser. And one of the key things with this too, if you want to get involved, there's no fee at the door, but if you want to participate and support Trailtown, we're doing $5 per team or per person, 2 people minimum. That's all it is. So, and all the funds will be able to go straight to Trailtown. And we're very happy that East First Brewery has allowed us to be in there, honestly, and just have the support. And we're actually be able to support them as well too. And I'm actually been working with Tracy, and she even said there may be a special on some drinks that night. Don't count me on that, but we're working on that for those who want to attend that evening too. So I think we're going to go off with the Halloween theme, have some fun with it. And I think you'll see some crazy decorations. There may even be a prize for best dressed costume. So Devin, I expect you to be there. Any questions about our trivia night? No? If not, I believe that is our last slide. I got one more. Just last and foremost, get out in the trails, get out in the sidewalks. Let us know what's going on. If there's things that are hindering you, or if there's hiccups in the town, city, county, trails out at the state park, wherever it is, we like to know, just so we can kind of be informed, and even maybe on behalf, reach out to the state park, reach out to these different areas that we can just kind of, like I said, be educated. We can be educated, you can be educated. And once again, overall, the more we get on the trails, the more educated we can be as a group, not just us, Trail Town. And I think it's only going to help us in the long run too. And lastly, come, like I said, come to the meetings if you want to. Let us know. Right now we're third Thursday of the month, if I'm recalling that correctly. And recently we actually been meeting at the brewery as our board meetings. So you're more than welcome to join us. Like I said, let us know. We'd be happy to share some information with you. And this little QR code that's not for our specific website, that is actually a direct link to our PayPal account. So if that's something, if you want to support, we do have PayPal. Of course, we also checks, things like that, not even just monetarily. We love contributions that way. But if you want to get involved, hey, I just really noticed some things on the trail. You want to kind of help start a cleanup day, things like that. We'll be happy to kind of help coordinate. Like I said, we have many people who have a lot of gifts on our board. Honestly, those two especially, they are amazing, and we are very, very excited for what's to come in the years. Hopefully, they stay on board forever. That's my goal. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I hope so. And but we do have a working board too, so we really, really want for us to be definitely an engaging board with our community. And if there's ever questions, please reach out to us, contact us. Our website's Campbellsville TT for trailtown.com. You can find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, PayPal as well too. And you can probably see, like I said, from those names, you'll see a lot of us in town quite a bit, or even out in the county. Stop us, ask us questions. Don't hesitate to do that. But yeah, that's kind of, I definitely just want to kind of share that, our heart behind that, and what Trail Town is. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Thanks so much for that. Appreciate it. And when you go out on the trails, if you'll take a selfie and then tag Joey in those when you post it, that way he can share it again. That'd be perfect. Let's all stand and close with our 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned?